Hey sightseers, welcome back. If this is your first time here, be sure to check out some of my other videos and then hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any cool adventures. What's going on? It is cold out. As you can see, Mr. Weiner dog is sporting a sweater now, and of course I've got my scarf and my hat because it is getting cold out. As such, I didn't get out and shoot a featured video this week because frankly, I just didn't feel like freezing off my you-know-what. So I thought for today, since Old Blue is looking pretty good now, we would take a little tour of our digs coming up for the next 3-4 months. Maybe 5, 6, who knows? Over here is our living area, or living room. Of course, we've got pockets for the remote and whatever else you decide to put in here. On either side of the futon will be where we put the dog beds for the big dogs. And then, of course, Mr. Weiner dog always has to sit up in my lap, so he's always up either on the futon or with me when I'm riding shotgun. Mocha, she likes to crawl all over us, or she'll hang out in her dog bed on one of the chairs up in front. Over here, of course, you got lots of overhead space. Try to keep everything like organized in sections. Just makes it easier that way to find everything. Over here, you can see we have our kitchen table with 2 chairs. Up above is more cabinet space. I have this little shelf that's perfect for stacking groceries. That way you can maximize your space. I also have these little storage bins. I think they're actually meant for shoes. But I picked these up real cheap at Family Dollar, and they're perfect for organizing and keeping small things that would otherwise roll around loose in the cabinets. And of course, can't forget the vacuum cleaner. With 4 dogs, you're definitely vacuuming frequently. We're talking probably like once a day. When we're stationary. When we're moving, I usually go about 2 or 3 days between vacuuming, but by then you can really tell. And with the new carpeting, I'm sure I'm going to be vacuuming more frequently. That's my best Vanna White impression, by the way. Over here is, of course, the kitchen area with double sink. There's a specific faucet for drinking water. There's a filter that we have underneath, and that filters out quite a few impurities, and it ensures that when we're drinking water, that we're not going to end up getting sick somewhere because the water's bad. Or at least we hope not. And, of course, more cupboard space for all your kitchen needs, food. Kind of how I have it organized. Your cooking top, microwave oven. The one downside is there is no oven itself for cooking here in this kitchen. I do have a Nesco that I use, and the reason I use that is actually the temperature settings adjust from like 150, I think maybe even lower, because I think there's a warm setting that's maybe lower than 150, but it goes all the way up to 400 degrees, and I found that I can actually bake stuff in there like a meatloaf or other things that you would put in an oven. So I do use that frequently when cooking. A couple more things I wanted to point out before we move on back. Of course, we have a fridge with a freezer. And then over here, this is my favorite cabinet. Voila! Your pantry cabinet. And I found that these size mason jars work awesome for your dry goods, such as your beans, lentils, quinoa, and somebody eats healthy around here. Just kidding. Don't let me fool you. These things are full because we didn't even eat any of them. Actually, we do have to start eating healthier. I found out that one of us actually has really bad cholesterol, so some of that stuff you see there that hasn't been touched in a while is definitely going to get eaten this time around. Oh, you always want to make sure that you lock this in place, because there were a couple of times where I forgot to do that, and when driving down the road, this door somehow pops open, and guess what? This comes shaking out. Next thing you know, your stuff's hanging out. So definitely make sure you use the safety latches. It's one lesson I learned. Pretty sure you can guess where we are now. I'll just point out a few features. Cupboard space. Down here, you probably can't see that from the camera angle, but there's really nothing exciting about an RV bathroom. This one is basic. There's nothing fancy about it, but it works. So that's one thing you gotta be thankful for. Here we have a really awesome closet. So for hanging all your clothes, and then in this Rubbermaid container, I got other items that don't necessarily get hung up. So really great storage space, in my opinion. Guys, I'm sure you really could care less, but for women, this is definitely the bomb. Back here, of course, is the sleeping quarters. Mr. Wiener Dog's favorite space in the whole RV. Up above is more cabinets, and then on either side of the bed are two very small closets, basically large enough to hang up a few jackets, maybe have some shoes, whatever you decide to put in there. Mr. Wiener Dog here is starting to get cold. Even with a sweater on and the heat on in here, it's still quite chilly. Because outside, I think it's not even like something like 40 degrees or something. So you can definitely feel the cold coming in through the walls. So, without further ado, we'll segue into your favorite part of the week. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. This week's shout out. This week's shout out goes to Robert. And I'm probably gonna murder the last name. Please forgive me, Robert. Robert Cartoonist. Robert, if you're watching, this shout out goes out to you. Thank you, Robert, for your comments on my most recent videos. And thank you so much for going back and checking out some of my checking out some of my older videos. Maybe some of those older videos do stink, but thanks, Robert. I appreciate